Hello. This guide was requested by Mr. Magic aka The Tomes on my Patreon page. Someone requested a techies guide before him, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it yet. Pugna's sorta a little runt with a major Napoleon complex. I mean, he's so short he can't even reach the middle of the frame in his hero portrait. Poor guy. So Pugna's guide was supposed to come out last patch and I'm thankful I put it off because Pugna in 7.06 is pretty fucking amazing. Has he changed dramatically? No, not really. You could say the increase in strength gain on all heroes benefits Pugna more because it was so low before, and so the 0.3 increase ratio-wise is more impactful on him than, say, Centaur War Runner. His ults changed a bit, mostly for the better, but the big thing is all in the items that he buys. But before all that, let's cover when you'd actually pick the dude. I don't know if you know this or not, but Pugna does a bit of magical damage. He's pretty good at pushing, and he has this one weird trick where he punishes you for using your skills. Spellcasters hate him. But basically that translates to the fact that people spamming spells can't spam spells, and when spell spammers can't spam spells, spell spammers lose in no particular order. I'll chuck out Outworld Devourer with a 100 mana auto attack, and Timbersaw and Skywrath Mage. Fun fact, if Skywrath uses his level 3 ult in ward range, he can immediately take 1,800 damage. So I guess I should change that to fun fact for everyone, except Sky players, I guess. A tier below that we can list just squishy heroes, typically if they don't have a stun or escape, people like Io and Lich and CM. And then below that are heroes that naturally build armor or physical damage reduction like Timber, again, and Tide. And I guess a subcategory for any hero playing with a really shitty Wyvern. Thanks for the free 4-second stun, dude. On the flip side, with a guy who has no health, no armor, and no physical damage, he's probably going to be countered by people who can just man-fight him, especially if they just dispel Decrep or have a shitload of magic resistance, like my boy Husker. Anti-Mage is there, Pudge is there, Juggernaut has Blade Fury for himself and naturally builds Diffusal anyway. Anyone who builds Diffusal sort of counters him. And the tier below that are probably heroes that just can't stop disabling you. Stuns usually aren't bad, the big stuns only really last for 4 seconds or so. What really gets you is the staggered stuns, like Cold Snap, or Paralyzing Cask, or Malefice from Enigma. That, and then any hero who has more than one and can sort of just ping-pong between their cooldowns. Nyx has 2 stuns, Bane has 2, Lion has 2, Kunkka has 3, and then below that are sort of just slight annoyances rather than counters. Yeah, the way Pugna's life drain tick works, if you have a DOT on you, you never actually get to full HP technically, so you never unlock the ability to mana drain with it. This is sort of dumb and would probably be fixed, but for now, literally any DOT is a counter to Pugna. Radiance, all of Venomancer's stuff. To be fair, listing all of the heroes who don't have DOTs would probably be faster, and because we're short on time, it'll flash right here. Did you see it?
I'll do you violence!
As with every Only Way to Play guide I've ever done, you can find this one in-game, as well as on YouTube. The link is in the description, and the skill build goes like this. I take Pugna mid, or off lane, but as a core, so this is pretty typical. Nether Blast max first, life drains picked up whenever, pretty standard stuff. If you're up against a Zeus, you'd get Nether Ward level 1 or 2, and against some matchups, you'd probably get more in Ward or more in Decrep. Your mileage may vary with this build. Nether Blast takes a little over a second between pressing Q and the spell going off. It's good, cheap damage, and a way to secure last hits in the laning phase. Basically, in a perfect world, one Nether Blast would last hit a creep, damage the enemy tower, and clip the enemy mid laner a bit. It's honestly one of the most simple spells in Dota. Basically, the only advanced mechanic is that the priming particle effects can't be seen by the enemy, so you can do some fake outs to mess with their head, and it damages towers for 162 damage at level 4. It is literally impossible to deny towers against Pugna, considering towers are in deny range at 160. Decrepify boosts all magic damage done to the target, but makes them immune to physical damage, just like Ghost Scepter, except castable on enemies. It slows enemies, but doesn't slow allies. But it used to, and it was the worst. Nether Ward is the good stuff. Learning when and where to place Nether Ward is 90% of learning how to win with Pugna. Basically, it emanates an aura of mana loss. Usually not noticeable. Some heroes that just barely have the mana for a combo now can't, like CK, but the big thing with Nether Ward is that it deals damage per spell cast. The amount of damage depending on the amount of mana used, and it procs before the spell gets cast, which is somehow fair. Hey man, I mean, I'm a Pugna player, so I'm not going to complain, but it's always fun to run around at 100 HP in front of a lion while Nether Ward is up, just in case you bait him in. Unless of course you miscalculate like this clip here. And then there's Life Drain, or the Suck as it's known. Basically, it's a channeling spell that drains health and gives the exact amount to the person on the other end of the suck, and this is a big thing. If the target uses BKB, you aren't sapping anything, so you aren't gaining anything, and if they've been amped with Decrep, you're sucking more and gaining more. As of 7.06, it has a max range of 900 and gives vision and true sight. You can't juke him to break it, only disabling Pugna or getting far enough away does it. This is a major buff. But the second part of Life Drain that I touched on earlier is that when the person being healed is full HP, they start healing mana from the health being sapped. So that goes for both allies Pugna's draining his life onto, and Pugna himself when he's draining an enemy's health. Just like how in the Ire Guard I said healing your allies with Tether does wonders, so does keeping them active with Life Drain here. You can even give your life for the cause and watch the guy you died to heal TP away in the middle of 5 enemy heroes, get cancelled, die, all while an unused BKB sits in his backpack. That was far too specific, wasn't it? There are so many heroes in the game who could be god tier if only the items they wanted synergized 100%. Armlet gives Huskar literally only good stats and the active makes the hero. That's why he's got such an amazing win rate. A Storm Spirit without a Bloodstone is like a burger without cheese, an astronaut without a spacesuit, or a Timbersaw without... well, like, without Bloodstone, I guess. I suck at these similes. It's just a good item on them. That's what I'm saying, okay? And then there's heroes like Meepo. See, he wants Dragonlance, but he can't use everything that Dragonlance offers because he doesn't get the range, so it's inefficient. And that's where Pugna was. He was in this weird state of limbo where he has the highest int gain in the game, but then went no item that gave mana regen, so you had to either detour to get a soul ring or earn, or just neglect your massive int gain and hope for the best. And now, without him needing to change a single thing, suddenly he has literally everything he could want. But before that, start off with a Null Talisman and Tangos, or an Iron Branch or two if you get your Tangos pulled to you. Pretty standard, rush a bottle, rush Arcane Boots, and pick up a Voidstone, because we're getting Ether Lens, the greatest sub 3k item you could get on him, even before 7.06, but now it's been changed to also give 100% mana regeneration. Every single aspect of the item is used, and because of this one change from Ether Lens being built from Ring of Health to it being built from Voidstone, Pugna is now the greatest hero in the game. Just goes to show you how DOTA is sort of balanced on a tightrope. After Ether Lens, stock up on 50 TPs, or I guess just invest in Boots of Travel, which cost a bit less. But basically be everywhere and anywhere constantly, nether blasting towers and pushing, farm wherever you can for the goodness that is Ags. After you get Ags, farm some more. Situationally, Atos is great, Drummers might be useful, Blink, Force Staff, Glimmer Cape, anything that helps you position yourself, and any item that increases your effective HP without adding to your health pool. Okay, let me explain. Because of how his ult works, counterintuitively, the less total HP you have, the faster you get to max and can sap mana too. Even with Ether Lens, you spam so many blasts and life drains that one of the casts needs to bring you mana. So we ride this line between being low on strength enough to enable this, but tanky enough to, well, not die. Octarine Core, BKB, Veil all increase your effective HP. Octarine Core gives you more health from your spells. BKB blocks magic damage, 50% of all damage you'll receive in a normal game, and Veil amps life drains damage, directly translating to an amp in life drains heal on you. Or you could just get Dagon. To round this guide out, here's a few extra tips. Push your lane constantly when farming. The longer the creep equilibrium is under the enemy tower, the more nether blast you can clip with it. In a good game, that tower can be down before like 4 minutes. When I lane, I like to spam my ward on the top side of my river. It's always draining a little bit of mana and it deters the enemy from trying anything on you. It's also fun to watch the enemy hit it 3 times before you walk in and deny it on the 4th hit. To add insult to injury, you could always decrep the guy you're hitting, or even decrep the ward itself, because that's a thing that you can do. Depending on the state of the game, you can transition from pusher to frontliner to medic and everything in between. Simply changing your positioning and the target for your life drain does it, and you're gonna have to. Like, even a 20-0 Pugna who wrecked early game is still a Pugna. Squishy as hell, you can't frontline all game, but the most important tip I could give you is this. People wearing the full BZZ Pugna set Nether Ward's Regalia win on average 0.22% more than the average Pugna.
And when MMR is on the fucking line, everything matters. So go out and fucking buy one.
So, unlike the last guide, this guide was brought to you by Michael Bauer, Gore Rocker, Leonard, Foxy fucking Loxley, Free Kill, Chris, 1996, Pearson, Mewborn, Locust Kukon, Mr. Magic aka The Tones, the infamous Logan Van Dusen, Mr. Revolut, Hubert motherfucking Camerdale, I can't remember Angel Phase, Shoot, Shadow Sweetheart, Jeff Miller, Jacob Miller, no relation, I assume, Roger Mafleur, Turd Ferguson, Michael Robb, Kaiser Wilhelm, Orslevik, Shiva's Guard, Red, English Breakfast Tea, Snuggly Williams, Litho, Klamath, Yebus McGee, Soranox, Rise Fatty, now part of the $5 Club, I1, XD, Christian Rudder, XZ, Milocott, Booty Souffle, Scar, Apache Mari wearing a headwear neckwear nicknamed as Hatcraster, Saintly Motherfucking Swordfish, Zwok, Tsunami Shadow, Punith P, Rhett Mitchell, Aegis, Herpa Derpa Dooda Derp, Swaggity Booty Boop Boop Boo Pro-S, Cody F, Fortunate Hive, Dice, Slap a Leg, I am on the side for it, Redless, I am one with the man on Kazoo, Kerrison, 15, just the number 15 I guess, Aaronin, Comrade, Rawface, Xenopronumbra, Chestnut, and the rest didn't pay enough to get me to read out their name. It's very awkward. This is pretty much me just shaming them now. Look at them all. Ugh. Look at that one. Ugh. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.